Okay, so I'm just going to go through each level one by one. So in this new version, we've got this level select screen, levels 0 through 23, just kind of talking you through all the various tutorial-y things, and then they get pretty challenging by the end. And then each level has a little medal based on how well you performed. So let's just jump into the beginning. So now we've got quite an introductory tutorial. So at the start now you have these ruins that you can't sell, can't rotate, they just kind of give the map something to start off with. Ideally, so a new player can look at this, kind of vaguely figure out, you know, what a switch does, what a drill does. We don't even give the player the drill yet. And then it's built with this nice path such that if you were to put this here, it'll bounce the whole way down and get to the end. And then we have these quests in the top right, so once you do this 5 times, up, completing it. And then just as a little speedrun tech, you know, mine your ore a little faster. Then we get to this win screen, so you can see this time we got a Garium medal, which is the second best because we didn't take any damage. Basically there's only one secret medal better than this right now, and then there'll probably be a speedrun medal, but until I have enough data on what makes a good median time, for now that's kind of it. But yeah, so now there's the speedrun timer for those so inclined. The next level is similarly friendly, but now we give the player the drill as well to go off. And then, once again, each of these levels are procedurally generated with some minor tweaking, so things like ruins are always pre-built. But everything else is randomly generated. Not too sure what it's going to look like in the future. We'll just power through these first couple. Excellent, and then once again there's a couple ruins here to show off the flip switch and the merger, and a flip switch and merger, sorry, a flip drill. Yeah, again, just kind of a slow introduction to the game, so players can kind of figure it out at their own pace. There's no monsters or anything to really worry about yet, as that was always the biggest issue with the old version of Orestorm, was there was just so much to learn, and there wasn't really a good, safe environment to show it all off. You could actually get comfortable with it. So we've unlocked these new buildings, we've also given them these new buildings. We also give the option for the quad drill, but you don't necessarily need it, but you know, if you want to try the trickier drills, we do give that option. That's not where you should be going. Oh, you're the front. Yes, we start you off with a good pile, and you can see like the merger being somewhat useful here as well. And then ideally the player might start to experiment, building little friends like this to speed up or gain further. But again, these first couple tutorial levels, if you've played the original, you can probably power through, but that is the beauty. There's currently no locking or anything, as it's a playtest copy. It's all just built so you can, you know, play at your own pace. The other thing I added recently is just these little grid lines, which you can turn on with shift, just for if you're trying to get something really far away. Is hopefully going to be a bit helpful. Not sure if that's going to be the best way forward, so please let me know if you have any thoughts on that. Beautiful. So with this one, we give people a little bit more to figure out. Let's just start with a... back away from that. So once again, flip drill up here, going into a merger, and now we show off the 2-2 flip switch, which will send 2 one direction, then 2 the other direction. By showing it off with the merger, we're kind of showing off where its value comes from. Obviously this isn't the most optimal, but it's enough to kind of teach the player what they should be doing. So in this case, we actually don't want to use a 2-2, because we don't have any value to be gained from it. Instead, let's build something like that. Let's do a short time, that's probably fine too. Excellent, so now we've got a reasonable amount coming in. Yeah, not too much else really to say in this level. It's again just giving the player a little more to deal with as we kind of incrementally grow that complexity. And by upping the mine ronk count to 750, hopefully that gives the player some time to explore with the quadrille. We'll be able to afford in just a moment. Decent. Okay. We'll go on. Excellent. So the quad drills are twice as fast as the flip drills, so they make for a nice natural expansion after that. Spiritually preparing for this next one, which we should be able to afford in. Excellent. And just whilst we're waiting, the big thing to call out with the merges is, as you can see, they are a bit slow, but the beauty is that they can't get jammed. Excellent. Alright, so this level, we give the player 5,000 ronk to just let you see what the kind of top tier items look like. So in this case you got the hyper drills, which drill really fast. You can see we show off the hyper drill, the quad drill, and the hyper merger, which is just a faster merger. Cool. Yeah, and again, this level's just really to experiment, so you can always get faster. So for example, whilst we're here, we can show off this, which is a pretty nifty way to turn 4 lines into 1, using the lightning merges, which is just a faster version of the merges. And then, yeah, not too much else really to show off in this level. So now we show off mobs. Again, just trying to do that incremental tutorial style. So start off with mining 100 ronks, so you've got a little bit of time to get familiar. Again, these are some pretty small maps to kind of start the player off. You don't really need anything too big and complicated. Perfect. And now you can see our objective changes to kill these slimes. That's a little fortress. So luckily slimes, pretty silly, they'll just get stuck on walls like this. However, if you were to stand this close, you might be in for a mean surprise, as we'll see now. Yeah, they have a little explosion radius, which helps because they can blow each other up, but just adds a little bit of challenge to the player as well. While we've got a spare moment, let's fill that line. Now we've got 2 ghosts to deal with, so pretty similar to the slimes, but they go through walls. Maybe a little bit more of a challenge. I'll probably end up upping these to a version where they get faster over time, because they are just probably a little too easy, but you know, for the tutorial, showing off the new ideas, I think it's nice to keep things as accessible as possible. Slow and steady. Excellent. And now we can see the real downside to using flip switches is they just get so gummed up so fast loop here to goad them through. Beautiful. Now we get our first crystal. So in case you haven't seen any of the other videos, the crystals shoot stuff at you, although it may be too fast. In fact, let's hold off so we can demonstrate it shooting stuff at us like this. Mean little fellas. And you don't kill them, you just subdue them, which essentially just means they go to sleep for a bit. But they will wake back up if you were to say take this line away to put it elsewhere. This one will eventually wake back up. And that's why it kind of lays dormant and will still kind of continue absorbing ore. See, there's another crystal spawning there. And all the way down here. Perfect. So this couple friendly. Excellent. So once these are all knocked out, it'll trigger one final wave where there should be 3 more, and then that's kind of the introduction to the various mobs. Now that all the essentials of base building are ideally been kind of understood by the player. But that one's already going to be sorted out because it's already in the box. You can see that guide being very helpful here because it tells you exactly where you want to chuck that switch. So the new guide already paying dividends. Perfect. And then once this one gets subdued, we'll be done and dusted. Perfect. And as we can see there, once again got a Garian medal because we took no damage and didn't die at all.